So on Friday, the Black Ghost Challenger crossed the auction block at Mecum Indy for a hammer price of $975,000. That definitely greatly exceeded my estimate and my friend's estimates of $400,000 to $600,000, which we figured the car was actually worth. So first of all, I want to go ahead and congratulate the family. And it's a huge amount of money. It's a life-changing amount of money, and I hope they do great things with it. And I also hope they get to keep the majority of it. But I know that they're going to have their seller's fees that they're going to have to pay to Mecum. Plus, of course, Uncle Sam's going to want his cut. And then I don't know if there's any additional money that they're gonna have to pay for all of the marketing that has gone on over the last couple of years surrounding that car from companies like Haggerty, Dodge, and Mecum, just to name three of the big ones. Because there could be a situation where they do have to send a portion of the profits back to those companies to cover all the marketing that they did on that car over the last couple of years. But I could be wrong, and they may not have to pay anything back to those companies. And in that case, it's all the better for the family. That car, as well as it did, was definitely overshadowed by another E-body Mopar that crossed the auction block not too much later, and that was the RTS Cuda. This car was absolutely incredible, and I was really excited when it was announced that it was going to be going to Mecum Indy, because the car was unearthed about a year or so ago and then went into hiding again. And so here it is back out into the spotlight, and we'll see where it ends up and what happens to the car. But it is an incredible car. If you're not familiar with it, the RTS Cuda was part of the Rapid Transit System show cars that Chrysler commissioned back in 1970 and 71. And this was the last one of that set of cars. And it was commissioned to Chuck Miller, who had a local customization shop. And so he did all of those cars. And this car was in incredibly well-preserved shape and has all the original components to it. And it ended up hitting a hammer price of $2 million. It greatly exceeded my expectations on this car as well. I was expecting this car to go for somewhere between $750,000 and $1 million, based off of what the other rapid transit cars had sold for, and the fact that even though it is a very early build Cuda and has a 446 pack in it, it does not have a Hemi in it. But that being said, it's still super cool nonetheless, and the only one in existence, the only one ever built. Probably one of the coolest features on the RTS Cuda is the shaker hood itself, because this one had an additional feature where they put a motor on it, and so when it was on static display somewhere, they could flip a switch and the shaker bubble would start to shake just like the car was running. And so I thought that was pretty neat. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and put a link in the description below to a video going over this car in detail, put together by the auto archaeologist. He was there when they unearthed the car a year or so ago. And so it's a really cool video, goes over the car in great detail, as well as has an interview with Chuck Miller, who went ahead and built the car. All right, now before I dive into my thoughts on the hammer price of the Black Ghost Challenger, I'd like to take a moment to remind everybody that my website, shoplifeatspeed.com, is up and running, where you can get cool shirts like this one, as well as a host of other designs that I've come up with. Now, of course, I think both cars were overpriced, not just the Black Ghost, but with the RTS Cuda at least, there were clearly multiple interested parties that really wanted to have that car. And so it went ahead and went up to $2 million. The Black Ghost, I'm not convinced that that's the true market value for that car. I think it's gonna be a lot less. Whether or not it'll go up for sale again to see what its true price is worth, anybody's guess, who knows. But of course, at the end of the day, the car is worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. And in this case, someone paid $975,000 plus fees for the Black Ghost Challenger, and another person paid $2 million for the RTS Cuda plus fees. And so what are your guys' thoughts? That's my thoughts. I think both cars were overpriced, but I feel the RTS Cuda is a better buy for the long run compared to the Black Ghost Challenger, because of the actual documented history and provenance with that car, and not just a huge amount of hype and swirl created by an incredible marketing machine. And of course, my final note, once again, huge congratulations to the family that sold the Black Ghost. And I really hope that that money goes to great use and really does change your lives for the better, because that is definitely a life-changing amount of money.